The inflation report for February is out. I was so close. I'm going to go over the inflation report and I'm going to go over a few headlines that will have an effect on prices in coming months. All right, so to recap, I said it would be at 2.5%. The number came in at 2.6%. What's the story? Gasoline and the GST. Let me start with gasoline because that's where I made my mistake. I estimated 154.5. It came in at 157.7. I don't know what the monthly average price of gasoline is until the CPI is released because the monthly average is released at the same time. And that's the difference between 2.5 and 2.6. That was gas 1 year ago. You see it's a significant increase. The other part of the story is the GST holiday. With the federal tax break ending on February 15th, the GST and HST were reapplied to eligible products, and that caused the prices to go up. Main drivers of inflation, no surprise there. I said it'd be mortgage interest cost, rent, gasoline, and insurance. There's mortgage interest cost, there's rent, there's gasoline at the bottom, and there's insurance. Should we be worried? No, not really. Things will likely return to normal in March, even with the trade conflicts. Which brings in this little headline. Bank of Canada would need to hike interest rates by 1.25% in full-blown tariff war. Yeah, no. I don't understand where these interest rate purists are coming from, okay? Because we know that if prices go up, it ain't going to be because of interest rates being low. The tariff war by itself will have a stagflationary effect. Like, we know that, right? You know that in your gut. That tariff war will cause job losses. It'll cause a general slowdown in the economy. That's the stagnation part of stagflation. And of course, because of these tariffs, consumer prices will go up. That's the inflation part of stagflation. But as you've been hearing over and over again, try to avoid buying American products. Perfect example is running shoes. Nike out of the US, don't buy that. Buy Adidas, buy Puma, Reebok. Look, I've played sports my entire life. I would never own Nike running shoes. Like, I remember Buddy, he bought Nike Vapor soccer shoes one year. After 2 games, the shoes exploded. Anyway, point being, I think we'd have to cut by an additional 1.25%, not increase by 1.25% just to get through this tariff war. And speaking of war, the United States is deciding to go full metal jacket on the Yemenis. And then there's this breaking news over here. All of that is helping oil prices go up. And I want you to note, this is Brent crude. Look at that. Look at this strange pattern. It's extended back 5 days now. The Saudis are doing their best to push up the price of oil, and the Americans are helping them, as are the Israelis. And there's a bigger issue here, right? If countries are not going to honor agreements between one another, whether it's a ceasefire, whether it's a trade deal, if we can't trust each other, what does that say for the future? Like, how can we negotiate in the future if I can't trust what you say? If I can't trust what you've committed to paper? The countries that are breaching these agreements will isolate themselves more and more over time. And a country that isolates themselves, and I know you people hate this word globalism, but the reality is this. Countries that isolate themselves will underperform. Look at empires over time. Were they great empires because they isolated themselves? Or were they great empires because they stretched their arms out to try and encompass as much of the world as possible? Yeah, that's never going to change. That's it for me today. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday.